Hey everyone, it's Bushy here coming back at you guys today with another video. And first things first, I just want to say that I'm sorry it's been a few months since I uploaded my last video. I had some medical issues going on. And so yeah, I had to take some time for that, but I'm very excited to start filming again and uploading more now that I'm doing a lot better. Anyhow, today's video is going to be another deep dive into plushies, of course. And today we're going to be talking about specifically the Alpacassos, which is a specific character released by the Amuse company, based in Japan. They're probably a little bit less well known as far as like the popularity. I know Labubu's have like skyrocketed in popularity. These guys kind of had their heyday a little while ago, but I'll go more into that. And yeah, and these hold a pretty special place in my heart, just from plushie collecting. And I feel like as I got older, sorry, that's my cat's tail. These really marked a pivotal point for plushie collecting for me, so I'm really excited to talk more about these today with you all. So getting started of talking about Amuse, the company. So Amuse Company Limited is a Japanese company, like I said previously, that has approximately 10 million yen in capital, I think is what I found, and then their CEO is Katsumi Ijima. I believe that's how it's pronounced, but I'll put it here as well. And they were specifically started back in 1990. They produce different merchandise and plush of different character lines. So other than Alpacasso, they have Pote Usalapi, which is like a bunny rabbit collection that they have, which I have a large one that I'll put in a clip of here. It's actually in the plushie wall. As well as some of these other ones. So they also have Koraham Koran, which is these two actually behind me. So he looks actually kind of like a little Starbucks worker in a way, with his little apron, and then he has a little hat, and then this one is just a gray little fuzzy guy with his eyes closed. There's also Hitsuji no Wooly. So these are these little sheep guys that are super duper cute. Yeah, so it kind of gives you an idea of just the different characters that they have. And getting into Alpacasso specifically as a character line, they released these back in 2009. And they are all, I'll put a picture here, they are all of Shiro-chan, I believe, is the main one of the little white Alpacasso character, and super duper cute, with little like bow tie, for one of them, and then another one has like a more like formal, like, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of what these specific ties are called. Necktie? I don't know. And then there's one with like little closed eyes with eyelashes, and then just a plain white Alpacasso. And then going further into Shiro-chan, as well as the other Alpacasso characters and what Alpacasso is. So Shiro-chan, his birthday's on March 14th. He's from Japan, and his favorite food is chocolate chip cookies. And then they also have the other characters of, you have a kind of like coffee colored or like really light brown colored alpaca named Bayan. And then you have Sora-chan, who's like a light blue color pastel. Then you have Momo-chan, who's of more of like a pink color like this one. So super duper cute. And then they do give more information actually that I missed about Shiro-chan, of that his favorite color is mint green. He loves traveling many countries. His best friend is actually Momo-chan, and he tries to wear various cute apparel. It's the information they give. And then it's worth noting that there are different types of the Alpacasso, or Alpacasso and Friends. So there's the standard size, which I just talked about all the characters for that one. And then they also have the kid size, I'll insert a picture here as well of what those look like. And then within those, they have 2 other characters other than Momo-chan and Shiro-chan, which are Ryama-san and Hana-chan. And Hana-chan has like a cute little flower, and Ryama-san has like much taller ears. And then going into, there's also babies. So these kind of like laying on their stomachs, as opposed to like the kids are like a little bit smaller than like the average like adult size that they have, like this. But then for the babies are like laying on their tummies. And they have added characters other than Shiro and Momo-chan is Yuki-chan. She has little eyelashes and is white. And then you also have Bei Jr., who's yellow. It's a little creature behind me. She's exploring. And talking about the different sizes, other than there being baby, kids, and the like adult or like normal Alpacassos, they do come in a lot of different sizes. So this is generally like the largest size, other than they do have some like jumbo ones that they sold of like, I think there was a baby one and then there was like an adult one. But they come in a variety of other smaller sizes than this one as well. I have this one, which is like a little ball chain one, but they also had one that was bigger than this. I think I have some back in my parents' house, actually. But it's like a little bit, I think a few inches bigger than this one. And then they also have even smaller of these little guys that have kind of like an elastic here as like a little keychain for them. Really love these tiny ones. I actually have a lot of them. He doesn't have his little elastic anymore, but they are so cute. They're so small. I bought a lot of them off of somebody on Mercari, actually. Except for this one, I already had him, the one that has his elastic on. And I'm hoping to collect more. And I did actually have, I think it was from the Waka Waka series, with kind of like a different like party. I think one had a party hat or something, I can't remember. But there's one with a little crown, and I had her as well, but I think she's also at my parents' house. So other than the different sizes that they have, they also have several different series of the Alpacassos. So I'm going to go through some now with you guys of some of my favorites, but there is like a ton more. I did actually film this video, try to film it before putting in all of them, but it is too much for me to go through each one with you all, because it would take over an hour. But many cute ones. There's actually a lot with like bows, as simple as that sounds. Getting into some of my favorites. So for this little guy specifically, comes from the Valentine's Sweet series. So these all have little ribbons with like a little I heart you heart as well. Super duper cute. And then we also have the 2010 Macaron series. This one was super duper cute. They all have like simple, just like macaron pastel colors. Really adorable. And then we have the Curry Baby series. So I actually do have one of these as well on my wall. So these are some of the baby Alpacassos. And they have little bows around their necks that are like kind of like tulle with polka dots on them. And then they also have these little like the texture of their fur is different with like little swirls in them. And we also have the AKB48. I'm not too sure what that means. Schoolmates Baby Alpacasso series, and they all have like little like school kind of like flannel, I guess, or like plaid little things around their necks. And then she has a little bow. Some of them also have little hats. Super duper cute. And then we also have the 2012 Alpacasso series. I believe they actually released 2 Alpacasso series. Yeah, so they have the regular ones with kind of like the more standard looking Alpacasso, and then they have the Alpa Cafe Kids Cafe Alpacasso series, where they all have little open signs, two of them have little open signs. It's kind of like the butlers of the cafe, and then you have like the maids of the cafe, which are the more feminine looking ones. And they even had like a little, it looks like Starbucks, but it's a little alpaca with a little crown on, like kids Alpa Cafe coffee. And then we also have the World Alpacasso Summer Olympics series. So this little guy I have is the Japanese Alpacasso, super duper cute. The Japanese flag is actually made to look like a little heart for this circle, so very, very cute. But yeah, the other countries have a similar, like, just little tied bandana. So super simple, but very cute. Then we have the baby pirate Alpacasso. I would also like one of these as well. But they all have like little pirate outfits on. Some of them have little bandanas. One has an eye patch, and then two have like actual like pirate captain hats that have little Alpacasso heads with crossbones behind them. So very, very cute in these little vests. Very, very adorable. And next we have the fluffy hood baby Alpacasso. These might actually be kids, but I'll clarify that here. Because they do look more like a kid's Alpacasso. But they all have these fluffy little Sherpa. It looks like Sherpa anyhow, which I do not like Sherpa, but it looks really cute on them. Of like different little animal hoods of like they have bears and bunnies. There's one, the white one has like a flower on top of the bunny, the pink bunny hood. And I really, really like that one. Then we have the Sweet Kids Alpacasso. So these all have like little lace around their necks. Some of them have little bows, I think for like the more feminine ones. They have like little cakes. Super duper cute right here on their chest. And then we also have the Paradise Eden series. They all have like these little like leaf flower crowns, or like kind of like the Caesar, like Eden. It's like supposed to be like Adam and Eve-esque. And then we have the Ichigo Berry Baby Alpacasso series. So they have little berries with these little bows that have like a lace detailing on them as well. Super duper cute. And then this one also has a little flower. And then we have the Royal Prince Kids Alpacasso. I want one of these so bad. I've wanted one since I was 14. And to give you reference, I'm 24 now, and I still do not have one. I have looked on eBay, and I've almost bought a few of them of like this ball chain size. But I really want one of the bigger ones. It's just very hard to find, and I feel like also like in good condition. I've noticed with like the actual like lace that's around their necks, how it's like all bunched up. A lot of it looks like stretched out, I think from the wear and tear, because these are from so many years ago that they were released, so I can't imagine they haven't gone through some things since that time. But yes, this is by far my most wanted, my Diso, if you will, of the Alpacassos. And then going into a couple other ones, I won't go into too many more, even though I do have some from a few of the other series. These two are super duper cute. They're both from separate ones, but also like very, very cute. He actually says love on his little bow tie, and then she's got kind of like this little like jester neck thing going on, and a little flower on her head. But for the other ones that are like some of my favorites are like the Flower Crown series. These all have cute little adorable flower crowns on. And then we have the Bridal Alpacasso series, so like little bride and groom, of like with little neckties, and then roses is like the boutonnieres. And then the two like more feminine ones have veils as well, so very, very adorable. And then we also have the Rainbow Alpacasso series. So I do actually have one of these as well, of the actual like pastel rainbow, which I think is the most recognizable Alpacasso. I think even today, I feel like a lot of people would still recognize it. There's tons of bootlegs too out there of this one. And then we do have the Good Night Alpacasso series that he is from. It actually says, oh no, it doesn't say anything on his star, but on the bigger ones it actually says like good night on them. Super duper cute with their little nightcaps. Really love this one. Honestly, a big one in any of these I would really like, just because I love these so much. And then we also have the Makima Pasture Kid Alpacasso series. This one was specifically popular, I believe, of like the sheep one. It's so cute, where it has like a little sheep hood on, and then there is another one with like a little bonnet thing going on, of like tied around her head. And then there's two with little bows that have bells on them as well. So super duper cute. So that's all the series that I'm gonna go into for right now. There's tons of other ones if you want to look those up. And I have a list made by a Tumblr user down below if you want to take a look at some other ones. But to talk about really the successes of Alpacassos, so they became really popular right after their release in 2009 and throughout the 2010s. Personally, I started to really like them, I feel like, when I was like 13 and 14 years old. I really started to be able to get a few where I could, more when I was like 15 and 16. And then Alpacasso, as the name within itself, I believe is the English way to say it, and kind of like what is like put onto a lot of the tags for the ones that I have anyhow. But they also do go by Alpacasso, which I think is derived more from the katakana symbols for the word alpaca, pronounced Arupaka, I believe. And that's where like Vocaloid songs like ARPK, which I'll put in a clip maybe here or something, or just like a reference to it for the sake of copyright, but also I think really contributed to their popularity as well with anime. I think it was a pretty big thing within like conventions, especially. You would see them different like kawaii videos and things like that, and kawaii media. They were pretty big, and they actually did have quite a few big collaborations with like One Piece and Attack on Titan. And they had a lot of their plush and like captive arcade claw machines. I believe a lot of the other Amuse plush are in those as well, and still to this day are, especially in Japan, and then at Round 1 here in the US. And then they also had many of them being sold through Tokyo Otaku Mode. I don't believe they are selling any more at this point. As well as at FYE, I've definitely, like both of these little guys I got at FYE. So they are still, at least for like the other Amuse lines, are still pretty prevalent. However, I think Alpacasso has really kind of had its time, I would say, which is unfortunate because I really love them. I will say, like, as far as like controversies with Alpacasso specifically, relates back to bootlegging and quality, which I think all factory made plush are gonna have issues with quality. Alpacasso, though, specifically had a lot of them where they looked more like derpy looking, like these, which this one I suspect may be a fake. It's from, I bought it like from someone on Mercari, but its eyes are so crooked. But that was something you would see with a lot of the real ones as well. And just different things, like this one is in really good shape, I will say, but still at the same time, it's like, I don't know, like there are some like just like inconsistencies with the sewing. Like I think she's going, you might not be able to see it really well, but there's like a bit of like patchiness within the fabric here, if you can see that, which you can definitely feel it when you feel right here on the plush. So definitely not the best well made. Again, anything that's made within like big factories, which I believe these are made in China. Yep, so these are all made in China. But definitely a lot of bootlegs as well, which is an issue I think that we consistently have more and more with resellers and just people trying to make money off of people who have hobbies, who have different hobbies of like that involve collecting. And what a lot of people would do is they would actually, there were a lot of like tips and like videos, I feel like, as there are now with many different things of like telling fakes apart. But a good way of how you could tell was overall just the look of the Alpacasso, if like things looked like lined up correctly. I think it's really good when you have something that's real that you can judge. I definitely think of the Labubus. When you have a real one, you can more easily judge the fake ones, the Lafufus. I've seen some pretty bad ones, but there are some that are pretty convincing. And definitely when you have quality concerns like people did with the Alpacassos, it was really hard to tell sometimes of a fake versus a real one. But people would also look at the tags, as well as the tush tags here. They would look to make sure the tush tag matched to whatever series they were getting. It's also harder to tell too when you buy one that was owned previously and may not necessarily have the tags on it anymore to tell if it's real. Alpacassos go today. I do believe they still have some releases or like newer collections or series that they've come out with. However, it's really few and far in between. I did actually contact Amuse and got a response back from them that I'll put over here, that there just isn't the demand for Alpacassos anymore, and that's why they've stopped releasing so many. I do really wish that it was different and that things worked out differently to where they could still be selling these and releasing new series. Because I do think that they're really cute, and I think that they made a lot of people, like, I feel like a lot of people really liked them, at least in like the more like kawaii culture of things. So yeah, I mean, you think like things come and go, so I understand. It would be really nice to see more of these little guys getting released, and maybe they would have the chance at like better quality. But overall, just to talk about Alpacassos as a whole, the quality, as like I said, I think they had struggles then. I think even now of like standing the test of time, a lot of these little guys have issues. I think one of mine, just the stuffing is so like, kind of like batted down, which is probably my fault. But it's just not as full of a plush as it once was. And then I also had one where the tush tag, I think that was like right after I got it even. It was the tush tag started coming off, and then like stuffing of like making a hole where the tush tag was. I would say quality, I would give them a lower score for sure on that. Uniqueness and creativity, so I do think that these were pretty recognizable in the 2010s. I think though if you're comparing them to things today, I would say that they are probably less unique, but not to the point where I think that they're still, you know, they have their own like branded look and like kind of like distinguishable characteristics, of like, I think the ones that have like the pirate hats on, or like the ones that are Attack on Titan for the Survey Corps and like have the little like logos of the alpacas on them, or like the Prince Kids Alpacasso. I haven't really found anything that quite looks like that. I'm not saying it's like a huge like out of the box idea, but it is something, especially for like when these came out, that I just feel like we're not really challenged by anything else, at least to me. I think Rilakkuma was super huge back then, like it is now. But yeah, and then who I think these are for, so honestly, because these aren't really getting released anymore, I do think that I wouldn't buy them unless you have like some collection interest in them. I don't think I would get these, like, go out of your way to get these for, like, children, and I don't think, like, unless you are really taken by, I mean, with anything, unless you're really, like, taken and absolutely want it and need to have it, I wouldn't take the time to collect them. Of, like, I know a lot of people too are like, for the Labubus, they're like, oh, this Labubu's gotta be worth like $600 7 years from now or something. And like, I think even for like how popular that these did get, they're not worth that much now. Like, even as far as, like, I feel like they weren't selling like quite as at the level of like Labubus are, but people would definitely sell them at higher prices because the demand was so high and because they were so hard to get at the time. It's always hard to tell with these things. I just really love these Alpacassos, and I think for as far as like nostalgia rating, I would give these probably a 9 out of 10, but if I'm going to be honest of overall scoring as a plush, I would probably give these like a 6.5. Just because of all the quality issues, I think standing the test of time. Actually, you know what, maybe a 7, just because some of the series are more unique, but there are a lot of them who just have bows. Like, for example, this little guy just has a bow. So, yeah, but other than that, that's all I want to talk about with you guys in this video. It's great to be back and filming again. I'm very excited to make more videos in the future. I really enjoy talking about plushies. It's something that I loved for my whole life. Other than that, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you are having a great day wherever you are in the world. Bye, guys.